Welcome back, friends, to a intense, focused, fun, information-filled session with Kimo, where we're going to take a deep dive on all of the FAQs that a parent or a young athlete might have about our new program. How you doing?
I'm doing great, thanks.
I am doing exceptionally well. Super
Yeah.
stoked for the young athlete program for our youth sports focus. I spent the last few days working on a nice looking new landing page for it. We have all kinds of great information. And today I just want to get a little bit of time with you to get into the nitty gritties of the program and answer some of the questions that people might have about it.
Perfect.
So let's get started. Maybe the most basic question. What is the program all about? So what is the young athlete youth sports program about, really?
It's about a program that really wants to meet the athlete where they're at. It's about the age demographics like 10 to, youngsters even to, college, and really teach a foundation of clean movement through assessment and guidance with Dr. Lee. So a person signing up in this program is going to get some clinical visits to do double assessment, adjustment if they need to, and then confer with me on trading path and ideology and stuff. And, the biggest thing that we look for is cleaning up the kinetic chain. So the way that the body's put together, identifying possible deviations in movement and unraveling those so we can give the athlete a really solid platform to actually move off of. And it's all about movement longevity. So today we're in an age where there's high specialization at a young age, and we really promote multi-sports, not just one thing, but we're here to help people that, if their kid's on a path and they're all about it, we want to kind of open some doors to help them understand the way to look at things, maybe on a longer term, how to take care of your structure. That's the biggest part of it. So it's really an education class too. So teaching about functional anatomy, teaching about what's attached to what, how movement moves through the whole body. Really it's a training program that's trying to look at training from toes to fingers,
I love it.
and get that whole system working together, not just being myopic on a single sport. It's going to have a lot of components of a cross training program with also some specialization in it. So there's going to be a great transference of training to the actual practicality of what sport the athlete's chosen, as well as, training them in a way that is different than specific to that sport, so not trying to be a specific running coach or batting coach or throwing coach or wrestling coach or anything like that, but, tying together all the missing pieces of a fitness program where if somebody is really skill driven in a sport, if you get too myopic on that, you can end up creating some overuse injuries and overuse situations. So kind of broadening the scope on movement, and making this person well-rounded. And, a big part of it too is the heart, tapping into that person's heart, figuring out what communication style they have, how they receive illustrations and information, and creating a pathway for resolution and what we're talking about. And also looking at just helping this person to really become the greatest version of themselves. Athletics is a fantastic way to learn so many life skills, coping skills, dedication skills, organizational skills, planning, and then really through movement, like movement, our systems were designed to be loaded. We're designed to move, and it feels good to move. So really teaching people, children, kids, teens, young adults, about how lucky they are to have this structure and how to really take care of it and really do something with it.
I love it. So that's both broadly and specifically what the program is designed to do, right? So filling in the gaps. This is for any athlete between the ages of 10 and 20 something, pre-high school, high school, college. This program is designed to tie things together, fix movement gaps, patterns, things that might not be firing and wiring properly. So there's all types of assessment that goes into this, as well as some clinical rehabilitation and making sure that muscles and tendons and the body's moving properly and that things are calibrated and aligned. So there's that kind of clinical dynamic. And then it sounds like there's also this whole deepening proprioception and a person's ability to move their body and understand their body and strengthening and resilience and injury prevention. So it's really like this pretty unique, pretty powerful program that's designed to help that young athlete perform better, right? Maintain, expand, grow their ability to perform, protect them, and also
Yeah.
build their confidence, right? And their
Yeah.
comfortability in their own body, which I think, I love that you call that out. I don't think, we think about that a lot, but as a growing and developing person, a lot of what we want to do in this program is instill that self belief and that confidence in their own body and in their own ability to move their body, which is pretty cool.
You got to love the body you got and, take care of it.
So when it comes to, so that kind of gives us an overview on, okay, hey, this is what the program is, and we kind of have gotten into who it's for. It's not for any athlete in that kind of that age range, boys, girls, all the above, young
Yeah.
men, young women, the whole thing. We serve everybody, non-binary, whatever, doesn't matter. If you're in a sport, or again, do you have to be the best at your sport to be this, or is this designed for beginners, for more advanced? Is it designed for everybody? I mean, what's your thoughts on a person's skill level or sport commitment in order to come in and benefit from this?
It's to anybody who's into it. There's no prerequisite on skill set. Absolutely. It's all about meeting that person where they are and just helping them to get better.
And so let's go kind of walk through the process of the program. So it starts with booking a complimentary assessment. So let's
Correct.
talk
Yep.
about that first meeting and kind of what we cover there and what you do in that. And then let's expand into how that informs maybe what the program would look like if a person wants to move forward.
Yeah, absolutely. So that complimentary appointment is really probably one of the most valuable ones that you could get, and it's for free. That's what's so cool about it. And so a person could expect, getting together like a meet and greet, kind of hearing their story, hearing my story a little bit, get to know each other a little bit, talk about where the person's coming from, what their dreams are, where they're going, what their goals are. And then we would move into some biomechanical screenings. So we do start off with gait assessments, squat assessments, and that's really going to tell a whole bunch about what is happening and what we want to happen. Then we can discuss those findings, and that's just an early undercovering of the basic strategy as we move forward. And then the plan develops as the person develops, so there's not a strict periodization, based on height and weight and different things like that. It's all about how that person's moving right now, what sort of things they might have brought to the table. They might notice they have something that hurts or seems weird and unravel those things. And then we would also get them in front of Dr. Lee. So he would do another assessment, talk in more depth about things that are going on currently, if they are going on currently, or what he might see as a potential thing coming down the pike. So we can do preventative rewiring, realigning, restructuring of their different movement patterns. And then kind of go from there. So then after getting to know everybody for a little bit, they would decide if they're into it or if they're not into it and book appointments and start hitting it.
And so the way that the program is structured then really is give somebody an accurate idea of kind of where they're at, and then provide them essentially a customized plan on what it would look like for them to move forward. And then those training programs can be set up a couple different ways, if I understand correctly. So we can have it so it's something where they're coming in once a week in clinic for a session, twice a week, or 3 times a week.
Yeah, correct.
And then generally we would start that off as a 3-month program, and expand from there.
Yeah. So it's a 3-month commitment. It's auto EFT or auto payments. You got 6 months to use them, and we just keep moving forward. Then after that, we want 3 months at least so we can get some traction and really kind of get something going on. And from there, a person can assess what level of involvement they want to remain at.
Fantastic.
And yeah, keep moving from there.
So, okay, in terms of in clinic stuff that they're going to be doing. Give me some examples of some of the things that you work with our current young athletes on. Like, what are some of the stuff that they would do like in a session? Sessions like about a 55 minute session or so?
Yes, they're 50-minute sessions. So you could expect, let's say we're already done with the assessment. We have a plan moving forward. So the individual would come in ready to move. They would already have had instruction on how to warm up with trigger pointing, self myofascial release, using a foam roller. Ideally, a person could get some of that stuff done pre appointment time. If not, that's okay too. I know mornings or your day can go sideways. So they would get warmed up. We would start working on the biomechanical deficiencies that were brought up during the assessments, and then start building on core stability, balance, movement, and then progressing into strength. So depending on the age is going to really be dependent on what sort of different modalities would be used. Be predominantly body weight or light band work. And then if the person's suited and older, we would phase into externally loading them with mass, dumbbells, kettlebells, bars, different things like that. There's a lot of different ways that a person would be receiving their fitness, and just really it's dependent on who they are, how they are, where they're coming from, what level of development they're at, and what level of development we need to begin initially.
Yeah, that was one of the questions I had was, is there a strength component to this? And it sounds like depending on the person and depending on their goals and kind of their movement assessment and their overall plan and how long they're in the program, that there certainly can be some strength components as well.
Absolutely, there definitely can, but the biggest thing is that a person has to be able to control their body through space, um, on its own before you can start externally loading. That's all there is to it. So, predominantly body weight stuff, core stability, balance is going to be where a person's going to be starting off for, and then depending on age, not really going to start externally loading till after 12, if at all. Then it would be super light, probably more band work than anything. Talking about midway through high school, that's a different story. Given that they can control their body movement through space and it's time, then we would start increasing an external load on that strength development component for sure.
That's a great call out because I think a lot of people, as young athletes, will start to get into some weight training activities, especially in high school. Very common.
Mhm.
I can
Yeah.
remember when I was on, football, but I even before then, I can remember when I was in, junior, when I was like, I don't know, 8th grade, 7th
Mhm.
grade, on the football team, JV team, we were in the gym, we were weight
Yeah.
training and literally knew nothing about anything that highly specialized, highly individualized training and assessment and connecting the dots between things like core and bracing and form and movement factors that really would allow a person to start to load safely. So I think
Yeah.
that many adults could absolutely, mostly, probably all adults, unless they've been trained professionally in like a professional athletic capacity, potentially could really benefit from just some of that core foundational work that you're talking about there during the first 3 months.
Yeah, for sure. And, also just having a good attentive set of eyes on these, so I can visualize or envision a bunch of youngsters in the weight room, and there's only so many coaches, and let's say we're talking about football, so they break them up into groups, and then here we're doing bench, deadlift, and squat, and so get after it. And so in that setting, there's a lot of room for error, a lot of room for dirty movement. These kids, they're kids, they don't know what they don't know. And the same thing as most adults. And so at this time, when starting to get into fitness, it's imperative to have clean biomechanics, because the whole goal is longevity of movement and creating a structure that will be able to produce really good force, decelerate really good force, and excel and be mobile and do all the rad things that your favorite athletes are doing.
So this is the perfect time to get your athlete involved in this so that they have this tremendous foundation that will really set them up for their entire life. It's a critical
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah. It doesn't have to be an athlete, a super sports driven youngster. This everybody could stand to learn these things about their body so that they just keep moving as they get older. Every person can gain greatly from gaining confidence from their body and loving their body, especially in a day and age that we are now. There's so many different dysmorphias that are going on and stuff. Want to give everybody the opportunity to find joy and movement, and especially some households, the parents aren't athletes, and they think it would be great if their kid wants to do it, but they don't have the skill set to coach and to train and to teach. And a lot of times, even when that is the setting and they put their youngster into a program, it's a lot of times it's dads are the coaches and different stuff. And I'm sure most of these dads are not kinesiologists. They're not movement specialists. They have passion. They have heart for it. They want to build that community and they want to be there for those kids, but they don't themselves have the biomechanical understandings. And so it's making it so movement's accessible for everyone.
I love that you're bringing up the fact that if you have a child who's in that age range we've talked about, and they're not even getting it, maybe there's a
Mhm.
piece of them that's just, they're unsure, that this actually is a great program for that person as well, to introduce to them movement and introduce proprioception and some of these
Yeah.
core mechanics that can put them in a place where they then have the confidence, drive, desire, and interest to start to expand on that. So that's a great call out. I love that.
I mean, all of a sudden they might get the idea that they want to start doing it and they didn't know latently they were incredible. And, perhaps wouldn't necessarily get that opportunity to shine in that way, or even if a person wants to just, they're on that track to go into a tech school and they want to be a welder or a fabricator or something like that. You need to be able to move. You need to know where your body is in space. You need to have strength because you don't want to get hurt on the job. There's so many reasons why that this could add to anybody's life.
Well, Kimo, appreciate having you on. Thanks for taking us through this great overview into some of the questions that a person might consider ask if they're thinking about this program for one of their
Yeah.
kids. Again, the best place to go here with this, there's the youthathleteprogram.com. You can just go over to that website. I'll put the link in. That's youngathleteprogram.com. And there's a ton of information there. Sign up. You can talk about it in the clinic. If you're in the clinic, you can talk about it at the front desk. Give us a call and we'll get you
Yeah.
booked basically for your complimentary session. And from there, you can decide if it's a program you want to move forward.
Yeah, totally.
Cool, my man. Well, thanks for being here. Appreciate you. Love this program. Super excited that we're able to bring this to the community. I think it's a tremendous program. And I think, again, we're just so fortunate to have your skills here on the team and your expertise available for the people.
Well, I feel the same way about you. You do such a great job of helping extrapolate all the information. Thank you.
Double high five. Boom, boom. Thanks, everybody.